Hi everyone, thanks for joining today. So, I know that a lot of people want to be able to touch their toes. Major goal when people think about yoga. I'm going to kick my shoes off here. If you have the ability to do that, please do. So we'll work a little bit on this today, a little more involved than our usual stuff. Take your hands down onto your thighs for a quick centering. Close the eyes. Take an inhale and fill the lungs all the way up to behind the collarbones. And then exhale and release all the way down until the lower belly's empty. Another inhale, gently press to the thighs to lengthen the spine, let the lungs fill. And exhale, softening the inner corners of the eyes. Gently bring those eyes open. Okay, namaste, thanks for coming. So we're going to begin by taking a little marching in place. This is warming up the hip flexors. Okay, one of the quads is a hip flexor, the rectus femoris. You've also got tensor fascia lata as another hip flexor. Hip flexors get a little weak because we sit in chairs a lot. So we're going to just warm them up a little bit before stretching them. Okay, release. Can't really work or stretch the hamstrings in a chair, so we're going to come to standing. Now you can place your hands on the chair or on the desk, whichever height works best for you. We'll take those hands shoulder width and walk back till you make an L shape. And you're going to bend your knees now, because if you lengthen your knees all the way, see how the spine is rounding here? Now this may or may not happen depending on your hamstring length. But if your spine rounds, you're not so much stretching your hamstrings as stretching your low back. So we bend the knees until you can lengthen that spine as though you could balance a pitcher of water on it. And then you reach the spine long. So here we're getting long spine, reach long through the lats, reach long from the tailbone to the crown of the head. The head stays neutral between the upper arms. And we're trying to get some space between the vertebrae. Very nice. Come forward to come up. Now let's stretch the fronts of the thighs, quads, and hip flexors. So you can take your chair behind you, take your hands onto your desk or a wall, take your foot onto the chair, your left foot, and you may feel a stretch here on the front of the hip and thigh. If not, you can bend that leg and hold on to the foot or ankle, and then you pull that foot toward your outer hip. Internal rotation of the thigh here. So you're spinning your inner thigh back and your outer thigh forward. Very nice. Take your foot down to the chair and then take that foot down to the floor. Now the right foot up onto the chair. Stretch on the front of the hip and thigh. You can reach back and hold your foot or your hand. If you're somewhere in between, you could use a belt and loop it around that foot. A belt, a strap, washcloth. And so you can see I'm spinning inner thigh back, outer thigh forward, and the foot is coming to the outer hip because of that. And then you reach long through the front of the hip, knee reaching down toward the ground. And we'll place that foot down on the chair and come to stand. All right, now we'll take the chair, turn it around so the seat is facing you, and then take your hands down onto the chair. We're going to bend the knees a lot so that the chest comes down to the thighs. Now, we're going to rock forward onto the balls of the feet and then rock back onto the heels, and we're actually going to lift up the fronts of the feet, lift up the balls of the feet, the toes, pull the toes up toward the knees, and you can lengthen the thighs a bit here. Lengthen the knees a bit here. And then place the fronts of the feet down, rock forward onto the balls of the feet, but spread your toes. And then come back onto the heels and lift the fronts of the feet up, and you can lengthen your legs here. Then you bend your knees more and come forward, balls of the feet. Rock back, lengthen, lift the fronts of the feet. Hopefully you're getting into your hamstrings now. Coming forward to the balls of the feet, and then back, lengthen the legs, lift the fronts of the feet. Place the feet down on the ground. Now you can come down even lower. If you have the space, you can take your hands to the floor, or if you have yoga blocks or books, those are good things. Cans, maybe some soup cans, large soup cans. And now your feet are hip width, your knees are hip width, and you're letting your head hang now. And again, if you're folding at the hip here, then you can lengthen your legs any amount. If you find yourself rounding the spine and that space is opening in the hips, then that's too much strain on the low back. So you want to bend those knees and fold at the hip. If you're comfortable here, you can grab elbow to elbow and you can rock a little bit side to side. Let that head release, back of the neck, back of the skull, release. Make sure you're able to breathe and your jaw is not locking up. When we lock up, the stretching ends and we're just stuck. So you bend your knees a little bit more and then you can breathe. Release, take your hands down, bend your knees a lot, hands onto the knees, come on up to stand. Come back to sit in your chair. And we'll close up. Take one hand to the upper chest, one hand to the belly. Inhale. And exhale. Thank you for joining me. Hope you get some hamstring work in and loosen those things up. All right, see you next time.